so we're back talking some more Monarch Legacy of Monsters on the channel, episode 6. Now, last week, we didn't really get a whole lot as far as Titan action on screen. Instead, we delved a bit more into Kate's backstory at large, which it seemed like a lot of people were not a big fan of, and it sounded like it was largely due to Kate having a girlfriend. This week, however, we are treated to some great Titan sequences, fantastic developments in the flashbacks, along with some other pretty cool reveals. Normally, I favor the 1950s storyline over the 2015 one anyway, but the 1950s flashbacks in episode 6 are some of my favorite segments so far, due to how they develop the relationship between Lee and Keiko while trying to navigate funding their Monarch projects. Even if somehow, for some reason, Keiko ends up with Bill, there always just felt like there's been some spark between Keiko and Lee. And that feeling is further exemplified when Lee takes her out to dance in front of everyone. It's just a shame that Bill had to go and cockblock them sending a message because he has some data of a possible Titan sighting that they have to go investigate. Cutting back to the 2015 storyline, I was kind of surprised on twofold how Lee ends up escaping Monarch's clutches, since none other than Duval, the one who breaks him out, who we last saw on the phone with May. Here is when things start to get really interesting when she's talking to Lee. Like we've seen so many times before, seeing how this storyline connects to the 2014 film. Because with all the details that she reveals to Lee in their conversation about her sister that she lost in Janjira, you didn't connect the dots to all the details that she's giving. She is the sister of Sandra Brody, Juliette Binoche's character, Brody's wife, who we watched tragically die in the Janjira nuclear power plant collapse at the beginning of the 2014 film. A very interesting way to tie in all of these characters together. She's joined Monarch to try and stop all this Titan business, and it seems like the only person that truly can have any effect in trying to stop all this stuff is Lee Shaw. So Duval has officially joined the team, much to everyone's surprise when they just show up at Kate's house to regroup after everything that we learned from Hiroshi's map. The thing with that map is Monarch is not too far behind them figuring out that same info. The points on the map were outposts, where these big gamma ray spikes are. Another fun wink to the Godzilla franchise and being a Godzilla fan comes in the form of when Bill and Keiko go to investigate the Titan sighting at a place known affectionately as Monster Island. While not as iconic as the Monster Island that we're used to from the Toho films, still a pretty cool Easter egg, I guess, even if this version of Monster Island is just a crazy man that made a gamma radiation lore for Titans, which is something that we'll see is useful in both storylines. Speaking of two storylines, it's kind of wholesome in a way that you can just tell how much Lee loves the Randa family. Obviously, there's some admiration there for Keiko, but also with just the way that he admires his new adventure with Kate while they're going out to the desert. It seemed like this great, happy reunion. We get to see proof that Hiroshi is alive, waving at each other back and forth. Hiroshi's waving isn't meant to be friendly. It's more of a way of trying to tell them to leave. Lee notices that Hiroshi is out here with one of those gamma radiation lures like he saw in the flashback. Regardless of the fact that it's so evident that Keiko and Lee have feelings for one another, you can see the internal struggle they have, being torn between their Monarch research and this potential relationship budding between the two of them, and the struggle comes to a head when they kiss. Which once again begs the question, I don't know how she ends up with Bill over Lee. It's something we're going to be seeing develop over the course of the season, I imagine. Lee has just been doing everything he can to show how much he loves Keiko throughout this season, risking everything for her at every turn. But the best part of all is the fact that Godzilla is featured in not one storyline, but he's featured in both. Godzilla was hyped just like us to see Lee and Keiko kiss, deciding to come out of the water on Monster Island and giving Lee and Keiko some sense of relief that he wasn't actually killed in that nuclear explosion. And also, in turn, it proves that that gamma radiation lore that crazy doctor made works. In the 2015 story, he comes out of the ground, destroying everything in his wake while he gets up. Not entirely sure why he decided to sleep here, but it is Godzilla, and we have seen him fall asleep and wake up in very strange places throughout his history. It also seems like the Monarch helicopter died in the process, but we didn't get to see it crash or anything, so I'm gonna leave that as a maybe they died. It's something I've said before when it comes to Apple TV, but the budget for this show has to be pretty high, because Godzilla, he just looks fantastic in all these sequences. Even if in this he's just rising up out of the ground or coming out of the ocean and roaring, and it's not shrouded in darkness in any way like we've seen in a lot of the other MonsterVerse stuff. I also just love the look that he gave to Lee, Kate, and all them before he just got up and walked out of of there. Not entirely sure where he's walking towards, but that's gonna be the next step of this journey. At least for some of us. It seems like Lee and Michelle are gonna go off and try and figure out where Godzilla is going. All the rest of them are gonna be off doing who knows what, maybe going and trying to find Hiroshi. Who really knows? All I do know is that they're not very happy with May at the end, considering that she revealed that she's the one that led Monarch here, so that's gonna be a very long, awkward walk back to civilization. And to make matters worse, in the flashback, Lee is double-crossed by General Puckett, cause when he went to go see Keiko, they just had someone else fill in and take over Monarch for him. So that's gonna be a shit show that I cannot wait to see explored more in the last couple episodes. But yeah, all around, this was a fantastic episode in my opinion. All biases aside, of course, because it did feature Godzilla. Just the stories alone were very compelling. I love the developments here in the 1950s flashbacks, especially between Lee and Keiko. Now, I've heard my thoughts on the episode. Make sure you share your thoughts down below. How'd you feel about episode 6 of Monarch Legacy of Monsters? Did you like the episode? Did you not like the episode? How are you feeling about the Godzilla stuff, the reveals here? And where do you think we're going with these next couple episodes? Either way, share all your thoughts down below, because part of the fun of this is having that conversation with you guys in the comment section. Thank you guys, as always, for checking out the videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video and also subscribe to the channel so you update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Till next time, see you guys later.